It all comes down to this. Fight Night Prelims live on DAZN.
Welcome to Norfolk, Virginia, home to the world's largest naval base. But tonight, this city becomes the battleground for the debut of Top Rank Boxing here on DAZN. For nearly 6 decades, Top Rank has defined greatness in the ring from Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and George Foreman among them. But now, the next generation steps into the spotlight as Norfolk's own Keyshawn Davis comes home to settle unfinished business against heated rival Nahir Albright. Hello, everyone. We are so excited to have you with us here tonight. I'm ready. I'm Kayla Burton, joined by the great DAZN boxing analyst and insider Chris Mannix. Chris, it's our first time here in Norfolk covering a fight week, so I got to ask you, just out the gate after taking in the atmosphere around the city, what stands out to you?
I would say first, it's a dangerous city to pronounce for 2 people from Boston. I'll say that off the top,
Fair.
but it is
Fair.
It is a fabulous place.
Norfolk,
correct?
Yeah,
fabulous city. We've been out and about, seeing the town, seeing the restaurants. I think Sergio and Todd have eaten at the same restaurant 6 times during this week. It's been fantastic here, and now we are back for a fantastic fight. The Davis brothers are huge draws here in Virginia. I'm expecting a great crowd tonight.
Yeah, you just mentioned them, Keyshawn Davis, and it is a rematch against Nahir Albright. But this is more than just a fight, Chris. This is really personal.
Yeah, it is personal. The history between these two guys dates all the way back to 2023 when Keyshawn Davis faced Nahir Albright. Back then, Davis was a rising young prospect, just 9-0 in his young career in a step-up fight against Nahir Albright. He performed pretty well in that fight, wound up winning a majority decision. Most people that watched that fight thought the scorecards were a little bit too close, that Davis should have won a lot more conclusively, but he came away with a decision in that fight. It was later overturned after Davis tested positive for a banned substance, but he moved on, and so did Nahir Albright. Fast forward to 2025. Albright is here taking on Kelvin Davis, the older brother of Keyshawn Davis, as the underdog, and comes in and wins a decision against Kelvin Davis. After that fight, there was a fracas in the back here at Scope Arena involving the Davis brothers, involving Albright, members of his team. It was an ugly scene and a real big setback for Keyshawn Davis, who also missed weight for that fight by 4+ pounds, did not make that weight. So that set up this. Keyshawn Davis has fought this then. He went to New York. He won his fight against Jermaine Ortiz. Nahir Albright also has a win in February. He beat Frank Martin. So both these guys, or he had a draw, I should say, against Frank Martin. People thought he won that fight. A lot of momentum for both these guys. Now they get to settle the score. Now they get to settle this unfinished family business between these two sides.
And you know what? It gets even more interesting. You know why? Because Keyshawn made weight, but Chris, as you and I know, little drama there, and extra time needed to do so. So, is that a concern?
Yeah, I mentioned the weight problems Keyshawn had 2 fights ago. He had similar problems here in Virginia, where he missed weight the first time, came back, was only 0.1 over, and made the weight. But it's always a question when you have a guy trying to make weight that's cutting down as much as he was. Keyshawn acknowledged to us in the fighter meeting it was a tough weight cut. Whereas if you look at Nahir Albright, he looks great, he sounds great, he had no issue making the 140 pounds. So you have to wonder, is that going to be a variable in this fight? Are the legs going to be there? Are the effective shots going to be there for Keyshawn Davis? We know Nahir Albright can be pretty good against Keyshawn. Is that weight cut going to matter tonight?
Yeah, and he wants it. Both of these guys want it. Does the winner of this fight, Chris, deserve a title shot in your opinion?
I think Keyshawn Davis most certainly deserves the title shot. In fact, if he wins, he is next in line for the world title at 140 pounds with the belt that was vacated by Richardson Hitchens. So he is absolutely in play for a world title shot. I don't think Albright is right there yet, but he would earn a much bigger fight. Maybe it's a rematch against Keyshawn Davis sometime later this year. And you can see these guys up there in the rankings. Keyshawn Davis currently ranked number 3 in our 140-pound rankings. You've got Shakur Stevenson, Dalton Smith sitting there. Richardson Hitchens, he is no longer a super lightweight. He is moving up to the 147-pound division. So Keyshawn should move up as a result of that. But a win there sets him up for a big fight, a title fight in the 140-pound division.
And to get there, it all starts here tonight. Great stuff, Chris. All right, let's bring in the rest of our broadcasting team, and that's the Latin Snake, Sergio Mora and Todd Grisham. What's up, guys? We know huge support here for Keyshawn tonight, but Nahir Albright doesn't seem to mind at all. In fact, he's proven to be the family Davis's kryptonite.
Yeah, I would say so, too. And a lot of people think Keyshawn could be the next Superman in boxing, but he's got to get rid of this
fly in the family ointment that Nahir Albright has become, does he not?
Well, maybe it's Albright that is the kryptonite, but the businessman needs to take care of business. I mean, he calls himself amazing. He needs to have that amazing performance, but it starts at the scale. That's the thing about Keyshawn. The reputation precedes him, but he made the weight. We're here tonight with a sensational knockout. Then he's back. All is forgotten, but can he do it in his hometown? We shall see.
Yeah, Keyshawn kind of not playing into this unfinished business. He doesn't believe that Nahir Albright is on his level, wants to prove it tonight. Do you think we're going to get the best version of Keyshawn Davis tonight at 140 pounds?
We better. I'll be honest with you, Todd. We better, because the thing about Keyshawn, everything is mental with him. I mean, we know he has the skill. He's an Olympian, a former champion. This guy has power. He has speed. He's the next coming of a lot of great things, but does he have it mentally? Right here, it becomes the first man to stop Jermaine Ortiz, someone that Loma couldn't stop, Teofimo couldn't stop, but Keyshawn Davis did. That's where all eyes are on him. That's when we think he is the future, when he's doing stuff like that. But when he's missing weight, when you can't rely on him, that's when you start questioning, does he really have it up here? And that's more concerning.
We know Keyshawn has improved a lot since 2023, but so too has Nahir Albright. We saw his fight against Frank Davis, and he looked Frank Martin. I'll get it right. Frank Martin. He looked great in that contest. Wobbled him late. It was a draw. A lot of people thought he won that fight. How much better has he gotten, and is he good enough to win tonight?
He learned from that. If he would have started earlier in that fight, I think all would have been good, but he started too late. That's what he wants to change here tonight against Keyshawn Davis. Start faster, start on the front foot, push Davis back, because he's good on the front foot. That's the thing about Nahir Albright. He can be good on the back foot, good on the front foot, but that's what he's going to have to do, just like he did against Davis. Push him back, go downstairs with that right hand, keep that long jab in his face, set him up with right hands. He's going to alternate a little bit of boxing, a lot of fighting to get the respect of Keyshawn Davis, and I think he can do it.
All right, we've got 6 fights on the card for you tonight, including 2 right now on our prelims as we take a look at the fight card here from Norfolk, the Mermaid City. Dedrick taking on Eric Howard right out of the gate, super featherweight division. And there's Keon Davis, one of 3 Davis brothers on the card tonight. Jan Santana and Christian Cruz Chacon will start our main card. Sergio thinks that fight could be the fight of the night. Kelvin Davis is back for the first time since losing to Nahir Albright. He'll be taking on a very confident Peter Dobson. Our co-main event, Norman Jr. is back after that tough loss to Devin Haney over in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He'll be facing Josh Wagner. And then the coup de grace, the main event, Keyshawn Davis and Nahir Albright. Let's get proceedings underway as we throw it into the ring and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and indeed we welcome you to the Scope Arena here in the beautiful city of Norfolk, Virginia, as we have a big night of action coming away. It's unfinished business, and it's all brought to you by Hall of Fame boxing promoter Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated. Our opening attraction features super featherweights in the ring. Our judges scoring from ringside. We have Mark Datilio, Joyce Stamey, and Paul Wallace. Our third man in the ring, the referee in charge of the action, introducing Brian Hiles. All right, fans, here we go. Super featherweights in the ring. We are scheduled for 6 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right. He is fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing black trunks with silver and red trim. Fighting out of Atlanta by way of St. Louis, Missouri, he weighed in at 131.2 pounds. With a record of 7 wins, 4 losses. He has 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the Southpaw super featherweight slugger, introducing Eric Hitman Howard. His opponent across the ring on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner. Solid black trunks with multicolored trim from Tacoma, Washington. He weighed in at a ready 129.8 pounds. A highly decorated amateur, he is undefeated in his campaign in the professional ranks with a record of 6 wins, no losses, 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the fast-rising Southpaw super featherweight known as Young Hitter. Here is Dedrick Crocklem. Once again, a referee in charge is Brian Hiles, now to give instructions, reminding you we are scheduled for 6 rounds of boxing.
See my instructions in the back. We're going to fight a big commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. We're a little high here. This is good. This is good. Touch him up, chin him up. Good luck for both of you.
All right, getting set to get our prelims underway. Todd Grisham, Sergio Mora, and Chris Mannix ringside. And we've got Sergio, the young hitter, taking on just the hitter, Eric Howard.
The older hitter at 36 years old. So we got a young hitter here in 6-0. Southpaw versus southpaw. So that's usually something weird in boxing. We normally don't see left-hander versus left-hander. We'll see how they get along.
Yeah, Dedrick Crocklem, 6-0 with 3 knockouts. A 25-1 favorite in this bout, taking on the young hitter, or just a hitter. You call him the old hitter. Out of St. Louis, Missouri, fighting out of Tampa, Florida. Coming off a 4th-round KO loss in his last fight to Narek Havanesian back in October. At the Scope Arena here in Norfolk, Virginia. Looking for a very big crowd tonight, as all 3 Davis brothers are on the card. Good counter right from the old hitter.
Yeah, good right hand by Howard. Timing Crocklem. That's what you got to do with these left-handers. And right now, it's Howard coming off the orthodox stance. When I'm studying, he switches. You know, Howard does. So right now, he's fighting him from that orthodox stance and landing their right hand, their right hook.
Crocklem's got good power.
Nice to see the big underdog pushing the young buck back. Sergio being very aggressive.
That's what you have to do with these young studs in these 4- and 6-round fights that go really fast. You get really aggressive, do volume punching, and you cut that ring off, make it smaller and smaller, and make them get a little bit out of character.
Let's see if Eric Howard can continue this pace as he's pushing Crocklem back against the ropes.
That's a good shot right there. Crocklem is always punching and trying to get angles, which is what you want to do as a southpaw. You don't want to stand in front of a fighter too long. You get your shots off and get on an angle, and that's what he's doing, staying off the ropes.
He's trying to stay off the ropes, but Howard, to his credit, is not letting him get off. And these are the kind of fights where you grow and you learn something very important when you're just 21 years old. Step by step, right, Sergio?
Yep. Just like Chris Mannix's favorite song.
And New Kids on the Block?
Yep.
Is my mic hot now?
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
We like
That's
the
not my favorite song. I had some really poignant things to say about a minute and a half ago. I'll save them for the second round.
There you go. Well, how high is Top Rank on Dedrick Crocklem, Chris?
They're very good at identifying prospects from really across the national spectrum. I mean, 4th of July, we're going to head out to Cleveland to see Abdullah Mason, a young man that they identified early, developed into a world champion at 21 years old. Obviously, Crocklem, long way to go, but good power with that straight left hand. I like that little check hook of his as well. A lot to like about Dedrick Crocklem.
And he's feeling himself in this round. This is a much better round than the second round. He's not letting...
Wait, we're still in the first round.
excuse me, the end of the first round.
Half of the first
first
round.
half, there you go. I really like the way he's closing out this round.
Round 2 scheduled for 6, super featherweight division. Dedrick Crocklem in the red gloves, Eric Howard in the black gloves. And Chris, this is the debut of Top Rank on DAZN. Glad to have them here. And there's a lot of, look at Crocklem starting to let his hands go, trying to take over this fight. There's a lot of differences between each of the promoters. We obviously have Golden Boy featured here on DAZN, now Top Rank. Queensberry, Matchroom. What is it that makes Top Rank a little bit different than the others?
I think their ability to developed prospects stands out. They're probably the best in the business at doing that. Not to say other promoters don't have that strength as well, but young fighters that sign with Top Rank, more often than not, they wind up fighting at the championship level pretty early in their career. Some recent examples I mentioned, Abdullah Mason, Shushu Carrington on that list. Keyshawn Davis has already been a world champion at a young age. So their matchmakers are excellent. Their prospect development is outstanding. They're really good at the maturation process of young fighters.
Yeah, some of the best matchmakers, Hall of Famers. So yeah, it comes down to matchmaking, knowing how to groom a fighter to championship level, and then let them spread their wings and become a star.
They ever match you?
I fought in Top Rank undercards early in my career, absolutely. Here in Vegas, well, in Las Vegas.
Nice left hand there.
Yeah, that left hand's wicked from Crocklem. I mean, he throws it from every which way. He throws a straight uppercut, left hook around the guard. I mean, everything's off that left hook instead of that right hand.
I like how Crocklem settled down in this round. Sort of the second half, as you pointed out, Sergio, of the last round. He's sort of eased his way into it now.
Oh, nice counter.
And Howard was trying to smother him earlier, which I thought was the right strategy, to stay away from the end of that straight left hand, but gets harder and harder when you start eating these shots.
Yeah, pressure is great, but you can only do it for so long, especially when you're 36 years old.
Now, Crocklem punches and dips, and that's what I like to see from young fighters, not just being all offensive. Even when you're in control offensively, you still got to mind what's coming back. So he's punching, dipping, shifting, getting angles, using his southpaw advantages. I love seeing this from the young Crocklem. See, stuff like that, beautiful. Not loading up, getting an angle, shifting your opponent, starting again.
Great combination, and he finished it with an uppercut. You don't see that a lot. And then again slips that uppercut in, and all of a sudden things are going very wrong for Howard.
Howard landed a good overhand right now. I mean, the young Crocklem took it well, but when you start landing so many punches so easily, it gets good to you. So that's when you got to go back to checking that defense. You can see Howard is getting, breathing with his mouth open.
And he's talking trash too. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Keep digging the body if you're Crocklem.
First of all, walk to the right. All right, it's a small thing. Walk empty above his power. All right, stop doing that. It's a small thing, okay? And let your hand go. Rinse and spin. Let your hand go. All right? You overthink this fight. Put your hands out to your face. All right, let your ass go.
Rinse and spin again.
Spin like a little ass go. All right, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. All right?
Round 3, the second round, a good one for Dedrick Crocklem, who's from right here in Norfolk, Virginia. Coming off back-to-back decision wins after knocking out 3 of his first 4 opponents. And Sergio, it looks to me like he might be able to get a knockout here if things continue like they did in round 2.
He's going to get it out of precision. You could see that Crocklem's not the heaviest-handed of punchers, but he has precise punches. He turns his punches, and he's using the advantages that he has, which is, quickness, angles, and surprising your opponent. So if he can continue doing that and breaking down someone like Howard little by little, he will get the stoppage.
He's trying to time that rear uppercut too. He sees Howard coming in and trying to smother him. He's trying to sneak that in there each time. It's getting closer and closer to landing in a big way.
There it is again.
Well, I see him finish that left uppercut with a sweeping right hook. Just like that, exactly. And then you could get that angle and then start over again. He's a smart young man. I love the combinations and the punch selection he's doing. I just want him to emphasize on the punch placement a little bit more. That way he can hurt Howard.
Loves that combination, the 2-1 coming in.
Yeah, he's really reliant on that rear uppercut. Maybe he sees something. Were you a big uppercut guy, Sergio?
I love the uppercuts on the inside, but it's dangerous on the outside.
Leaves you so exposed.
Well, it leaves you exposed, but Crocklem gets away with it because he's a southpaw and he steps back nicely.
Oh, he stepped into that left hand. Best punch of the fight for Dedrick Crocklem.
That froze Howard in his tracks right there.
I want to thank those of you over in the UK who are still watching after seeing what Klip Hrgovic did. An easy knockout win over Dave Allen in round 3. The corner throwing in the towel. If you watch that entire card and you stay up and watch this entire card, you're the real deal.
That means you're a boxing fan.
Yeah. Maybe too much of a boxing fan. Might need to get out a little bit more.
Addicted to boxing.
Yeah. Or you just can't sleep. That I understand.
The one thing I would like to see from Crocklem is that jab right there. If you can find a way to annoy your opponent with the jab, blind him, and make him not see that left hand, then that's going to make things easier for you. So just more educated jabs by Crocklem to hide that left hand and left uppercut. Everything off that jab, popping him, touching him downstairs, and you surprise him with something big over the top.
The undisputed king of boxing meets the undisputed king of kickboxing in the home of the Pharaohs. Alexander Usyk puts his world championship belt on the line in the shadow of the pyramids of Giza as he takes on Rico Verhoeven, the kickboxing champ who has won it all. Now wants to try his fists against boxing's best. It's available with your ultimate subscription May the 23rd.
You know, I saw Sergio's itinerary for getting over to Egypt. It's the Greyhound here to Norfolk, and then he's going to catch a Carnival cruise line to France, I believe, and then catch some kind of bus to get over to Egypt after that.
Hey, listen, at least I'm going to be there. I want to see those pyramids for myself. So many great people in history have seen those pyramids. Now Sergio Moro, this Mexican from East LA, will see the beautiful erect pyramids that aliens built.
Please, I was going to say, please don't spout conspiracy theories when you're in Egypt. I'm begging you not to.
Please don't say the word erect on air again.
That too.
So let's see how aggressive Crocklem decides to be here in round 4. You know he wants the knockout and he's fighting in front of his hometown fans, and there's Shakur Stevenson in row 1.
Speaking of southpaw snipers, man, I mean that's the epitome of a beautiful southpaw. Shakur Stevenson, that's a man that knows how to utilize the jab, maintain that distance. You know, avoid the inside fighting and give your opponent anything to hit. But right now, Crocklem is so in control, and the young hitters, he's handling business inside and out, so it's all right.
Well, the hitter, Eric Howard, still marching forward. Give him some credit. He got knocked out in his last fight. Still being aggressive here. He's lost 4 of his last 5.
This is what I was talking about with the matchmaking of Top Rank. You know, Crocklem is winning every round, but he's being forced to work in every round this fight. Eric Howard is here to give him that type of work, push him possibly to the distance, and make him learn something along the way. It's exactly what you're looking for with a young prospect in a preliminary situation like this.
Crocklem just fought in February, a 6-round unanimous decision win over William Flynnoy. Boy, there's that uppercut, snapped the head back of Howard.
Sergio, you can see Crocklem a couple of times during this fight try to do that little step around, right like there. Try to step around, spin, get a different angle. He's not quite sharp enough yet to do it, but you can see him trying to evolve that part of his game.
Well, I don't mind
nice
him
counter
not
right from
landing
Howard.
something from those hooks. It really takes a lot of experience to do that, to be able to turn your opponent comfortably, not getting too far away to be able to land a counter from there. Not moving away, right there, slipping away, boom, shot like that. Little by little, he's getting the hang of it. Crocklem knows what he's doing. That uppercut's really nice, and it's landing cleanly, only Crocklem's taking it well. You can see how it's busted up his mouth, though.
Crocklem's in the flow right now.
See, like right now, while he's, shifting, he should be popping that jab, continue to bust up the face of Howard. That's all he needs right now is just that jab. Utilize that jab, bust that stick, and keep Howard busted up.
Another good round for Dedrick Crocklem. And there he is, the founder and CEO of Top Rank, 94-year-old Bob Arum.
Yeah, it's great to see Bob back sitting ringside. He's been out of commission after undergoing knee surgery, but here he is, back sitting ringside, telling me this week he plans to be at all the Top Rank fights coming up here on DAZN.
That's a boxing great, Bob Arum, and it's amazing at 94 years old that he still has a passion to travel and be front row to see these young prospects and champion that he's developing into stars. I mean, to have that hunger at that age is impressive.
I spent a couple of weeks with Bob Arum, probably 7-8 years ago, to write a profile on him for Sports Illustrated. It was the greatest reporting experience I've ever had. That man has some of the most legendary stories. You wouldn't even believe them. Evel Knievel, boxing days, this guy has seen everything in the event space.
Didn't he say Evel Knievel was the worst guy he ever had to promote?
He did. He didn't like working with Evel Knievel. The guy almost bought the Pelicans, or I guess the Hornets back then. He almost had a team in New Orleans. He's done everything in the sports space.
Is Sergio your Evel Knievel?
He's getting there.
Didn't Evel Knievel have a cartoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
Remember the little motorcycle you'd rip the ripcord and take off and shoot up the ramp, the toy?
Yeah, now I'm remembering. There you go.
Round 5 now. And, Sergio, I think you're right. Crocklem seems to have a lot of tools in his bag. Just power's not one of them.
Yeah, he pushes his punches, so he needs to work on finding that snap at the end. He's doing a good job, but it's still amateurish. If you could see that he's landing the shots, it's cleanly, it's impressive, but he's not doing damage really. It's kind of he's pushing his punches, like I said.
He was really effective in the amateur ranks. Emilio Garcia, Johnny Mansour, Justin Valoria, Sammy Contreras, those are just among the amateur wins that he had. A pretty impressive resume that dates back many years within USA Boxing.
Yeah, as an amateur, these punches are going to score. As a professional, you're going to need to turn those fists, turn those punches, mind your technique, focus on slowing down your punches to land them better instead of speed and combinations. So it just needs to evolve into a different fighter now that he's a professional.
I'm not trying to criticize you here, Sergio, but you kind of had a similar problem. You weren't a power guy, so you had to adapt. You had to win fights the old-fashioned way. What advice would you give him if he's just not going to ever be able to have that kind of power?
Well, focus on combinations, focus on speed, and you could still develop strength. See, that's the thing about a misconception about, power. You could be a strong puncher, but you're not going to be a power puncher. You can still hurt opponents, but you're not going to knock them out.
Sort of like a Nahir Albright.
Sort of like a lot of fighters, a lot of boxers. So just learn how to twist your punches better, land them cleanly. Focus on 2 good ones instead of 4 medium ones.
I would say too, I think he's got the potential to be a power puncher as he gets a little bit older and more mature. I think the power's there. That straight left hand, he's landed that pretty clean. And watching some of his previous fights, he's hurt some of these opponents, knocked out some of these opponents with that shot. I think as he physically matures and gets that pro style down, starts sitting down on his punches a little bit more, starts slowing down, stop getting smothered like Howard's trying to do, I think he's going to be pretty effective as a puncher.
And there's still time for him to score a knockout here. Another round to go, plus 30 seconds here in the 5th.
Walk him around, turn him around. Don't accept that. Yeah, there you go. Stop. What are you doing? Clean. Take it first. Bottom top.
These guys have been talking to each other since round 1.
Stop.
And Crocklem talking to the corner of Howard.
You see Crocklem against the ropes being real relaxed and confident. Nothing landing cleanly. But I would like to see him on the outside busting up that face with that jab and then getting on the inside. But right now he's nice and relaxed. This is business as usual for Crocklem. And getting those rounds in, getting experience in. So that's always a good thing for young 21-year-old.
Yeah, he's set to go now the full 6-round distance for the second round against a more experienced guy, pretty durable guy. There's just a lot of lessons a young fighter, I think, learns from a fight like this. Not the least of which what to do when a guy's smothering you like this. Like, it's not like Howard's landing a lot of big shots, but he's taking the power off of these Crocklem punches. He's got to find a way to get separation, spin out, create that space needed to land those big shots.
Or find a way to land a good body shot. That would get him off.
Yeah.
How quickly they want to get this guy back in, Chris? You think we'll see him on the July 4th top-ranked card in Cleveland?
Certainly possible. When you have a 6-round fighter that, quite frankly, doesn't make a ton of money, you can get these guys out a little more often. So you want to get young prospects like this out 4 or 5 times a year, start to build them up.
Nice little contingent of fans here for Crocklem, all wearing the matching shirts that say Young Hitter on them. Keep in mind, he is only 21 years old.
Yeah, I ran into Crocklem's mother in the elevator, and she was telling me, you better say his name right. I said,
she got mad.
Man.
She got mad at Jimmy Lennon Jr. He said you could hear him during the weigh-ins on Friday. She got a little mad when the name was mispronounced there. Jimmy got it right the second time. He did get it right, but the first time around.
Am I saying it right? She's sitting right over there. I don't know.
Crocklem, you got it. Yes.
Dedrick Crocklem. All right.
Mama's boy.
Didn't the fighter have the nickname the Mama's
Dennis
boy?
Douglas.
Yeah,
Yes,
Dennis Douglas.
trained by his mother.
That's right.
Let's stick with Young Hitter right now, because the Young Hitter's doing all right. Yeah, other than controlling the distance and range with the jab and controlling the fight with the jab, I mean, excellent performance.
Well, do you think, Sergio, maybe he's just going into the trenches a little bit to try and learn how to do more inside fighting?
Yeah, it can be. Getting these rounds in.
Yeah.
He feels comfortable. He's not getting hit with nothing cleanly. He's not getting headbutt, which is something you see with contrasting styles. So he's in charge. He's having fun. So, yeah, I would think he's comfortable and just going to cruise into this victory.
He's still engaging, though, not cruising to a win by any means.
Turn it over, 2 shots. 2 shots to get 1. Set it up. Set it up, feet down low.
You know, on the back of his trunk, it does say Mommy's Boy, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. I just said that.
Turn it over right there.
I believe Mommy's misspelled. I thought it was Money's Boy. But it is Mommy's Boy. The young hitter from Norfolk, Virginia, Dedrick Crocklem, about to pick up his 7th win at the age of 21.
The young hitter is not spelled right either.
So there he is. Did you like what you saw, Sergio? What grade would you give it?
Well, it's something that stood out with an A+. No knockout, no knockdowns, nothing exciting, but it was a solid beat performance. I mean, I like the punches he threw, the selection. I really like the footwork and the angles. So the
But Haney didn't even sell out in Brooklyn.
Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are not Puerto Rican. That's going to be a big one. You know, they're going to fill it out with a lot of Puerto Ricans. I think that's going to be the difference.
And a lot of fans driving up from Philadelphia to see boots. Let's go into the ring now and make it official. Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement. All 3 judges scored about the same, 60-54, in favor of the winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, young hitter, Dedrick Crocklem.
7-0 is Dedrick Crocklem. Be interesting to see how quick they turn him around. We might see him July 4th when we head to Cleveland for Abdullah Mason's title defense against Joe Cordina. So Sergio, what would you tell him to work on in the gym?
Just control the pace of the fight with a jab and turn your punches. Other than that, keep doing what you're doing.
So that's the first of 2 fights here on our prelims. Coming up next, it'll be Keyshawn Davis in action. Here's our highlights now as we look back. Dedrick Crocklem taking on Eric Howard.
Yeah, Crocklem came out really fast, trying to get the stoppage, it appeared. You know, he was punching really nicely straight, especially with that jab right there, that 1-2 from that southpaw stance on the inside, picking him up or trying to pick him up with uppercuts. The thing about Howard early with those long arms, he was able to block that earmuff defense and really not let the young hitter really get no clean punches. But he was landing some shots in the middle of the ring like he is here. And once he started touching him the body, you could see that the fight was wearing out of Howard. Making a miss. Over the head punch, but look at those feet. Always moving, always dancing, fighting with rhythm, and leaving the ring with a smile. That's how you do it 7-0.
And the young hitter will dance his way to the back now and get set to watch the other 5 fights still to come here live on DAZN from Norfolk, Virginia. Let's send it back upstairs now to Caleb.
Way to start things off, guys. From Muhammad Ali to Sugar Ray Leonard, Bob Arum has promoted some of the greatest fighters the sport has ever seen. And the Hall of Fame promoter believes Keyshawn Davis has the potential to crave out his place among boxing's elite.
What's up, Coach Ron?
Our plan is to make him the face of the sport.
Well, Bob Arum say he keep his mind right, he stay in shape. Keyshawn gonna be the greatest of all time. This man been in boxing longer than everybody in the sport right now. He's seen it all. He done it all. He promoted all. He even promoted Muhammad Ali. He promoted Floyd Mayweather. One of my 2 favorite fighters of all time. And you know what he said about me? He said Keyshawn got the potential to be one of them, but yet I'm me. I ain't them, but yet I still can be the greatest of all time. So hearing confirmation like that from somebody like him is amazing. Shouts out to Bob Arum, man. We love you, Bob. This is a new day. It's a new year. You know what I'm saying? And again, this fight is just another opportunity for me to show how great I am. I was 9-0 when I fought him, so man, I leveled up a lot. Like, man, I done fought Pedraza, leveled up a lot. I done fought Limos, Baranchik, you know what I'm saying? I had bigger opportunities than, you know, just fighting him when I was 9-0. So really the fight speaks for itself. Honestly, what I remember is that he caught me off guard, how long his arms was and how quick he was, honestly. And I definitely underestimated him. Just honestly, what a lot of people don't know about that fight is like literally right after that fight, like I ran to the locker room because that was when I had my stomach problems. I was really started throwing up right after that fight. Like in the middle of the fight, I'm fighting him and I'm telling myself, I gotta slow down before I throw up in the middle of the fight. So like, of course I was, doing things I wasn't supposed to do during fight week. So like, honestly, I wasn't focused. And I physically wasn't ready either, and I got a win on like one of my worst nights ever, like literally. So I'm coming back stronger mentally and physically this time. I'm knocking them out this time.
He's got the whole family here in-house. All right, the main card is coming up in just about an hour's time. But for now, the first of Norfolk's fighting family steps into the ring next as Keon Juiceman Davis takes on Edwine Humaine Jr. So let's send it back down to the guys ringside.
Thank you, Kayla. Yes, we're at the Scope Center here in Norfolk, Virginia, getting set for the second prelim fight of tonight's card. And it does include the Juice Man, Keyshawn Davis, on the left of your screen. 4 wins, no defeats. He's got 3 knockouts, taking on Edwine Humaine the 25-year-old from Haiti. So here comes Humaine, who we actually saw on DAZN in Orlando back in August. Chris, he lost a competitive 10-round majority decision to Yoelvis Gomez. He lost the first 3 rounds on all 3 scorecards before heating up in the mid-rounds to make it quite close.
Yeah, he's been around and faced some very good opponents. You look at those 2 losses on his resume. Yoelvis Gomez, very talented guy at 154 pounds. Arthur Holmes undefeated at the time that he faced him. You know, he was fighting for in position for a world title shot. So his losses have come at a very high level, which makes him the exact kind of opponent to take on someone like Keyshawn Davis. He's fought 10 rounders in his last few fights. He is dropping down to a 6 to fight Keyshawn Davis. The experience edge goes to Humaine.
I've been a problem solving, throw it as a we gon' ball, pull it like Batman, we robbing, shots in the body, make them hard and shake. 2K team and I might need a couple, been ballin' so hard on the road like a trucker. How can I go with the team? Two my strap like you still with your cup.
So Keyshawn Davis, the first of 3 of the Davis brothers on tonight's card. We'll also see Kelvin and then Keyshawn Davis's last fight, a 2nd-round knockout over Michael Garcia right here in June of last year in Norfolk. But Sergio, this is going to be the toughest test of his young career by far.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's dealing with a fighter with heavy hands. I mean, Humaine has 7 knockouts in his 9 fights, a lot of those in the first round. So especially early, Keyshawn Davis, who has power himself, is going to have to watch out for the power of Humaine, especially in these fights where they're only in 4 and 6 rounders. It can happen really easily.
Yeah, Keyshawn Davis making his debut at 154 pounds in this fight. Like his brother Kelvin, he was feeling kind of strangled at his last weight. Kelvin going from 140 to 147. Keon jumped from 147 to 154. It's almost a miracle he was making 147. This is a 6'3" fighter. Big guy, long guy, and a lot of skill. When I talk to Top Rank about Keyshawn Davis, when I ask, hey, can this guy fight? The answer universally, resoundingly, is yes. They believe that he has got real star potential.
Coming off an 11-month layoff, the longest of his career, is at a new weight class. Let's see how Keon, the Juice Man, looks here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Scope Arena here in Norfolk, Top Rank Incorporated continues the action. This time in the super welterweight division, our 3 judges scoring from ringside. We have Mark DiTilio, Troyce Stamey, and Paul Wallace. Our 3rd man of the ring, our referee in charge, is Eric Irisari. All right, fans, here we go. Super welterweights in the ring. We're scheduled 6 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim, fighting out of Springfield, Massachusetts, by way of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. He weighed in at 155.4 pounds. With a record of 9 wins and 2 losses, he has 7 wins coming by way of knockout. He is known as Silverback. Introducing Edwine, Humaine Jr. His opponent across the ring in this 6-round attraction, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with multicolored trim, proudly representing his hometown and his talented fighting family from Norfolk, Virginia. He weighed in at 153.3 pounds, undefeated in his campaign to the ring with a record of 4 wins, no losses. 3 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the promising young talent known as the Juice Man, introducing the undefeated Keyshawn Davis. Once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions, Eric Irisari.
All right, let's go. All right, gentlemen. Your trunks are high. Punches right here on the letters I know will be fine. You're okay right here. Punches right here I know will be fine. You receive the instructions in the locker room. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Right? That's me.
You can already see the height difference. Keyshawn Davis 6'3", Humaine 5'7". Sergio, how many inches difference?
I don't know, but he uses those inches nicely. I mean, this man fights responsibly behind the jab, and what I like about him, like all the Davis brothers, no matter how tall they are, they all dig down to the body nicely. They're vicious body punchers.
All right, Keyshawn Davis, the juice man. Plenty of pop, 75% KO ratio. But it is still early in his career. 3 KOs in his 4 wins. This is his second 6-round scheduled bout. He's only been past the second round once in his career. Has never been past 4 rounds. So experience is something he needs to gain. Who's the tallest fighter you fought, Sergio?
His name was Eric Regan. I think he was 6'5".
And you enjoy fighting taller fighters?
I love fighting tall fighters because they don't have the same footwork, and they're always punching down, so you could loop your shots over the top. Thing about Davis, he does get hit with the right hands. You know, he's offensive enough to want to come forward, but then that also leaves him open when you're such a tall target like that with quick hands.
You can tell right away, though, there's pop behind Keyshawn Davis's punches. Just even the shots that hit the gloves of Humaine earlier, they had some pop behind them.
Yeah, you could hear it, and he turns his punches nicely. Those wide shoulders, he's able to turn and torque the power in.
Maybe we can get him there with Sebastian Fundora one day.
Walk out of there. Oh, walk out of there.
You know, it's remarkable that Keyshawn Davis was trying to get down to welterweight. He waited around 149 for his last time out, but the plan was to move down to 147, compete in that weight class. But man, he is huge, strong, big, strong, long arms.
Oh,
great power.
Yeah, and right now Humaine has no answer.
And his power comes at the end as well. You know, he extends those arms. Even when they're uppercuts, you can see the power comes at the very end.
8-inch height differential.
What is it in centimeters?
That I'd have to get a calculator for. Humaine Jr., born in Haiti, now lives and fights out of Springfield, Massachusetts. The most experienced opponent that Keyshawn Davis has fought.
Davis is going to need hooks around Humaine. Like he comes forward with straight punches nicely. His head stays in the same place, but if you can come around the guard with hooks, that's something that long arm fighters really aren't as adept in. You know, they're good with that 1-2, controlling that range and then pop you with that right hand. But when it comes to hooks, that's where they actually lack.
Yeah, the Davises were all outstanding amateur fighters. Keon, brilliant fighter, has some wins over Xander Zayas, Floyd Schofield, fighting in the amateur ranks. So they're polished guys, and Keon's very much like that.
Oh, there's a hook right there.
Humaine's been caught in no man's land. He's got to get on the inside, but as he goes in, he's getting clipped.
That's cool, low as a bit. Hey, keep using your jab. As soon as you get in your range, you ain't got to let, just touch. But make sure you're not going straight back. Because you're walking back to that rope. Keep that circle. Keep them following your ass. And let them run right into those traps. Let them run right into those punches, all right? But use your feints up and down, all right? Still looking good. He ain't barely touching you. He looking to load up on that right hand, okay? What you got? If you need to see, let us know. Let us know if you need to see. Check us out. Check us out. Let's go to work.
So Keyshawn Davis has all of his stoppage wins coming in 3 rounds or less. And on the other side, Humaine's knockouts, 6 of his 7 stoppages have come in 2 rounds or less. So if something's going to happen, it's going to happen here in the next 6 minutes.
You know, Humaine's shown he's got a pretty good chin. Went the distance. Elvis Gomez, pretty good puncher at 154. So he's shown he can take a shot.
Yeah, but that's what happens every time, Sergio. He's trying to close the gap.
Good body shot.
Well, look, if he is going to get the stoppage, it's gonna be like that, touching him and softening him up downstairs in order for something to come over the top. And Davis, all the Davis brothers are excellent body punchers. They know how to dissect fighters down there. Beautiful handwork right there. See, that's quick combinations. When you see long, strong punchers like that, be able to put combinations so fast and explosive, I love seeing that, because then they can go back on the outside and use that stick. They can alternate their game plan. You know, normally when you have that much of an advantage with height and reach, you know, you're one-dimensional. You know, you like to stay in your comfort zone. But when you could switch it up to another gear on the inside, you know, and be explosive with the combinations, that's when you're special. That's when you actually can take it to another gear.
Little bit of success now for Humaine Jr.
Humaine has to double up shots. He can't just go right, left, because Davis is accustomed to just turning those big shoulders and making both punches miss. But if you start doubling up the shots and aiming at the shoulders, he's forced to stay in one spot, and then you can get your combinations flowing. See, like right now, the shorter Humaine shouldn't even be aiming at the head or the chin. He should be aiming at those shoulders, those biceps, the body, and then you go from bottom up. But if you don't practice that in the gym, if that's not part of your game plan and strategy, then you're going to be confused in there. And that's what I think we're seeing right now with Humaine.
Humaine started his career 9-0, but has lost back-to-back fights since then. Both of them going the distance. Both were competitive, but this one not as close. It's been all Keyshawn Davis as he just knocks him back against the ropes. The crowd thinks they see something.
Good headshot there, but I love the body work in this round from Keyshawn Davis. That left hook to the body. I mean, Humaine's not reacting to it, but they look like thudding shots. And for a young fighter to keep investing there, that's a great sign.
Exciting times for U.S. boxing fans as DAZN and TNT Sports have announced a groundbreaking new partnership bringing major fight nights every month with The Fight beginning July 4th. It'll be available on linear TV through TNT Sports in the U.S. and streamed globally on DAZN. It all starts in Cleveland as undefeated phenom Abdullah Mason defends his WBO World Lightweight Championship against the former world titleist Joe Cordina. That's on DAZN and TNT Sports. Chris, you don't get excited about much, but how excited are you about this?
I get excited about everything. What are you talking about? I think it's great. We were talking about the Xander Boots fight selling well. I've heard these tickets are selling excellent as well. The ringside tickets almost sold out for that fight. I think it's going to showing that Abdullah Mason, Tiger Johnson, who's going to be on the undercard, both these guys are turning into pretty big draws in Ohio.
And how difficult a fight is that going to be for Mason against Joe Cordina, Sergio?
It's going to be tough. I mean, Cordina's on a roll, and I think he has good footwork, but you got to give credit to Mason, man. One of the youngest champions and still wanting to fight, you know, taking big step up. So I love the ambition. That's going to be a hell of a fight.
I like Cordina going back into enemy territory. It was enemy territory last time out in Stockton. Now he's going to Cleveland, this time for a world championship.
Hey, we saw Dalton Smith come over to the United States and win a title. Let's see if Joe Cordina can do it July 4th here on DAZN.
And credit to these Brits, man. I mean, when Abdullah Mason, you know, when he won his championship with Sam Noakes,
yeah,
that was incredible. You know, so tip my hat off.
Keyshawn Davis seems to be having a lot of fun in there, the juice man.
It'll be a feather in his cap if he can stop Humaine Jr. I mean, if Humaine Jr. goes the distance with Holmes and with Gomez, if Keyshawn Davis can stop him inside 6 rounds, it's going to be pretty impressive.
It's going to be difficult, I'll be honest with you. Humaine doesn't really open up much, and he's strong. He's a strong fighter, and fighters like that, you have to be really offensive in order to catch them in between shots. But whenever you have that earmuff defense, you're blocking a lot. you're not really opening up for anything and land cleanly.
There's Shakur Stevenson, very close to all the Davis brothers. Do you think he'll ever fight Keyshawn?
No.
Never.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they go back to the Olympics, man. I mean, these guys are just two greats in their own lane.
Keyshawn Davis's nickname is the businessman, and there's a lot of money to be made if those guys are undefeated for the next couple of years.
It's also usually, I don't know if you agree, Sergio, it's not great when friends fight. It doesn't sometimes turn into a pretty good fight. I mean, I don't like the idea. Unless it's a massive fight where both guys are unified champions at a respective weight class. Good shots there from Keon. Straight right hands, 3 in a row.
Triple right hand, and there's a nice little counter left, though, for Humaine. Humaine looks in pretty good shape. Same sweat.
Definitely strong.
Yeah.
But is that strength translating to power? I don't see no explosiveness in his combinations. He's following around Davis, and he's not really cutting off the ring with body shots. That's how you stop these taller fighters from moving around laterally like that. You got to hit him to the side, then you can loop your shots over the top. And right here, Humaine should be pushing him back, walking him back, using that strength. Tall fighters, even though they do have good footwork, they don't have good balance, especially when you get hit with a clean shot.
Trying to muck it up there in the corner is Humaine Jr. Why not? Whatever it takes.
There you go. See, that's a good shot downstairs by Humaine.
He's trying to set up that right hand. You can see it from a mile away, though. That's the problem. If we can see it, you know Keon can see it. Both guys standing up in the corner.
How do you feel? Good, I'm good. Breathe. He doesn't have no more legs. That's it. Time to kill him. Let's go. He has no more legs. Let's go. Punch, straight punches. Breathe. Breathe. I need a lot of pressure and jabs. You gotta go hard. You understand? Go hard.
Keep in mind, both these guys, young fighters. Keyshawn Davis, 24. Humaine, just 25. So a lot of growing to do. And you heard the translation, beautifully done by Sergio, Chris, that they believe that Davis is fading and they want Humaine to go after him.
I don't think he's fading. I thought the last round he was kind of playing with his food a little bit, and Humaine took advantage of it. I do think he's got to get more serious as this fight progresses. I don't think he's in danger of being down the scorecards, but he's allowing Humaine to dictate the pace of this fight. Good shot.
Yeah, well, he's being more aggressive as Humaine, and that can be a double-edged sword. As you saw there, there'll be openings that Keon can take advantage of.
And this is what happens when you have motivated cornermen, when they light a fire on their fight. And this is what we're seeing from Humaine right now, exchanging with Davis and caught his attention with that left hook. Checked him right on the tempo. I don't think Davis likes that shot. He hasn't punched since.
You know, it's interesting. All referees have different styles. This referee seems to be inclined to let them work out of these clinches.
I like that.
And that benefits Humaine.
Good counter combination there.
Yeah, you could see Keyshawn Davis hit him and just turn off. Good uppercut there from Humaine. Right hand from Davis. This fight heating up a little bit here, thanks to the aggression now of Edwine Humaine.
Love to see a little bit more of the body work from Davis. You see Humaine with that earmuff defense. That midsection's open, and he's landed some good ones throughout the course of this fight.
And that's the reason I thought it was going to be difficult for Davis to stop Humaine. He's not giving you many openings. He's a tight, compact puncher with wide shoulders. Guys like that, you got to surprise with one shot, whether it's to the body or the chin.
There's a good right hand. 2 of them from Humaine. There's a body shot. He asked and he delivered. Most exciting round of the fight. It's not close.
No, he needs to jab his way in now, Humaine. He's not going to land those overhand shots like that, those looping shots against a tall target. You jab your way in, you backing up, then you loop the shots, just like he was doing earlier in the fight.
Davis looks a little gun shy now.
He has to respect the looping shots from the shorter target.
The crowd urging him to throw that right hand. He's got it locked and loaded, but won't let it go.
Good shot there by Davis. Nice right hand.
Oh, it's a counter right. He finally did drive, and it hit the target. Good round here in Norfolk.
Respira.
Come on, breathe. Take the deep breath.
Él está fuerte. Está quedado ya. Pues el plan estuvo encima de él.
But you always got to get on top of him. You understand? Stay on top of him. Come on, you got to hit him right here on the sides, right here in the hips.
Respira, coge ahí. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Breathe. Come on, how do you feel? Feel good.
Cerrátese bien, vamos a cerrar todo bien. Son dos más que faltan.
There's that right hand that got the onslaught going for Davis. So it was a shot to the left temple of Humaine, and from there he got the combinations going, and you can see that Humaine didn't like that shot.
The harder Edwine Humaine goes for the knockout, the more likely he himself is to get knocked out. You saw that right hand land from Davis.
I tell you, this fight reminds me a little bit of the fight we called last December between Diego Pacheco and Kevin Saggio, where you had a big 6'3", 168-pounder going up against a smaller pressure guy who's just winging shots and staying in your chest all night.
Yeah, great example. And a lot of tall fighters that are extremely tall, and they don't like fighting a short target like that, you know, punching down all the time, especially if you're responsible with your defense, because you know something's coming over the top. That's what I wanted to see from Davis, some hooks around the guard. Whenever you have anyone with that earmuff defense, you go around the guard with lefts and rights.
Well, that range is where Humaine is just dead meat. He can't sit at the mid-range against Keyshawn Davis. He's got to continue to smother, stay inside, keep the fight at his chest.
Yeah, staying in the mid-range is a bad idea. Get in or get out.
You know, I think as Keon Davis' career progresses, he's going to learn the value of keeping that jab moving. He's got a really sharp, strong jab. He just keeps sticking out there. Shots like that are going to become a lot easier.
Yeah, you control everything off that jab when you're that tall, when you're that long. Either your opponent gets frustrated, he gets busted up with punishment, or he gets lazy, and that's when you catch him with something big.
You saw how aggressive Humaine was in the last round, slowing down here in the fifth. I think he exerted a lot of energy there. Now it's letting Keon stand on the front foot. Not the kind of body language you want to see if you're cheering for Edwine Humaine.
Yeah, he's feeling those body shots by Davis, touching both sides. That's one thing all these Davis brothers have. They're vicious body punchers, touching both sides of the ribs, always.
Yeah, the corner calling for that stick. They want to see the jab.
Yeah, that's what's going to get everything started. I mean, you can blind your opponent with that long jab, and then you can hide that right hand right behind it. But if you're not throwing that jab, you're not lulling your opponent to sleep.
Whoa.
Great counter right hand there. Just rolled with that right hand of Humaine. Shot back with the right hand of his own.
Yeah, it was the best Humaine punch of the round. And the counter right, though, is even better. There's another one. So Humaine's learning quickly. Anytime he lands something, he's got a receipt on the way. Humaine backpedaling, trying to get out of danger, but this was not a good round for the Haitian as he eats another right hand. Coming up on on DAZN at the top of the hour. Sergio, I know you're excited about this one as the Dominican Republic's Jan Santana looks to remain undefeated as he takes on Christian Cruz.
Yeah, no, I think stylistically Cruz is going to be all wrong for Santana. Santana, a big puncher from the DR, but we don't really know what type of power that is because the opposition hasn't been as solid as Cruz. We're going to find out what he's all about in this fight.
Okay? Go back to the body, mix it up. Yeah. Everything off your jab. Yeah. Everything off your jab, all right? Make this round good. Let's go. Last round. Let's go. Let's work. Let's go.
All right, sixth and final round here of our final prelim of the night. Keyshawn Davis, one of 3 Davis brothers on the fight card tonight, looking really good. He's won the majority of the rounds, if not all of them so far. But with this vocal crowd behind him, you know he's going to be going for the KO. As for Humaine Jr., had a very solid effort in the 4th round, but in the 5th certainly took a step back. Sergio, earlier you were saying Humaine Jr. should be backing Keyshawn Davis up against the ropes. There it was being done to him.
Well, because the fight's being out of him already, and that's the thing about Humaine. You know, he starts off fast, but then he lets his opponents take in control. There's no respect that Davis, that Humaine got from Davis, so that's the reason he's just coming forward and no respect.
This is a very solid performance from Keyshawn Davis, considering he's facing someone with so much experience, as Humaine Jr. has, and some success too.
It's a good combination by Humaine.
He's going to have to roll the dice here as Humaine. He needs a knockout.
No, I don't think he gets it. He's not explosive enough. And I don't think those heavy hands that he has, it's against weaker opposition. You know, a guy like Davis, he knows how to roll with these shots, take the power and the strength from these punches. And I like the way Davis has reacted when he did get hit with some shots. So this was just a good test and another, great matchmaking by Top Rank here. Didn't get the knockout, but dominating every round and working on your craft.
We still got a minute to go, and he's landing a lot of power punches here. It's Davis. There's another one, right hand on the ear. That could be a problem. Right on the temple. Humaine Jr. still showing you he's got life. The baby brother of the Davis family, Keon, doesn't look like a baby. 6'3". A massive man for this weight class. Super welterweight division. Now downstairs, I don't know. Can Davis maybe get a stoppage? The crowd urging him on here. Good right hand. Trying to pull his gloves free for a final salvo is Keyshawn Davis. There's the clapper, 10 seconds left.
Good body shot by Davis right there.
And they'll slug it out to the bell.
Excellent finish and excellent great test for Keyshawn Davis, who needed this. He needed rounds. He got a tough veteran in front of him. And this is what's going to make you better going forward. I think Davis knows what he's doing on the outside. I just want to see him utilize that jab a little bit more. But all in all, excellent performance by the Juice Man.
The Juice Man, Keyshawn Davis, 24 years old. And Sergio, how would you rate that performance?
I like what I saw. I just would want him. I would advise Keyshawn Davis to watch the Motor City Cobra version of Thomas Hearns, back when he was lining up guys and rocking them with that right hand. Everything off that jab. Hearns was an excellent body puncher, but he used his height. So that's what I want to see Davis use. Use that height, use that range, bust up guys with that left hand, and make it easy for yourself. Land that explosive dynamite and make it easy with a knockout.
You just saw a shot of Keyshawn Davis in the corner of his brother, and later tonight, It's a rematch steeped in bad blood as former world champ and Olympic silver medalist Keyshawn Davis will face Nahir Albright in a 12-round super lightweight showdown. That's our main event here from Virginia. Let's go into the ring now. Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges score the action 60-54. All 3 in favor of the winner. And still undefeated, the Juice Man, Keyshawn Davis.
Chris, your thoughts?
I thought it was a good test for Keon Davis, facing someone with this type of experience who fought every second of these 6 rounds. It's exactly the kind of test you want. Going the full 6-round distance, eating some shots, that is an educational fight for a 24-year-old fighter like Keon Davis.
And it's a nice start for the family affair tonight. They're 1-0 so far with 2 more Davis brothers to go. The middle brother is Keyshawn, and then the older brother is also fighting on the main card as well.
I'm coming, young. For the
Let's
10
jump into our
round fighter
highlights
on
for the
round.
featured prelim bout of the night. Keyshawn Davis and Edwine Humaine Jr.
And look, early he was landing those right uppercuts, and I thought it was going to be an easy night once he started digging that body. Keyshawn Davis was really peppering him up, landing some shots, but then back comes Humaine, making it physical on the inside, looping some shots. Got the respect, I think, of Davis. Davis had to start breaking him down and being careful, but forgot about that jab, and I think that's the only thing that he neglected here, because he was landing some good combinations, but he was in there with a fighter that's never been stopped in Humaine, and I think that's what I think was the difference here. I think Davis didn't really soften him up with jabs, but all in all, it was an excellent performance that's going to make him better moving forward.
All smiles here in his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia. That wraps things up here for our prelims. The main card starting at the top of the hour as we go back upstairs to the stage at Kayla.
Thank you, Todd. All right, Keon Davis, you see there, getting the Davis family started with their first victory of the night here in Norfolk. But as Todd mentioned, still so much more to come. Brothers Kelvin and Keyshawn are both still set to step into the spotlight. And don't forget our explosive co-main event as Brian Norman Jr. takes on Canada's Josh Wagner. All right, that's going to wrap it up here for the prelims on DAZN. But make sure you guys join us at 8 p.m., about 15 minutes away, for the main card as Keyshawn Davis and Nahir Albright settle unfinished business.
I'm telling you, he's really a rookie. Honestly, I'm gonna show it straight like that.
Albright is not a slouch. We're going to see if Wu has some tricks.
Keyshawn Davis showed exactly why he is considered a blue chip prospect.
That fight against Nahir Albright changed to a no contest.
He could be a brother warfare.
Now I was fighting Keyshawn. Kelvin was like talking crazy. Now I get a chance to fight him.
His name Wu, he going down into.
Now Keyshawn is a cheerleader for his brother Kelvin. Oh, there it is. Stuns the Davis family in the back. All hell broke loose.
Keyshawn, you gotta run it back with me in the ring.